Welcome back to another video, folks. I've been away a while, but I've been busy, and I'm super excited to announce the finalization of the last book in the trilogy. And this is a year's worth of eating, the Ridgedale Farm Cookbook that I've been trying to get together for the last 6 years. And now we're ready to launch the Kickstarter campaign this weekend. For me, this is a super special book because it really ends what's been such a significant chapter in my life. We started with how to design, think about, plan, manage profitable regenerative enterprises. And then due to the demand from people emailing from all over the world, we wrote a 3D instructional CAD plan manual of how to build all the low-cost infrastructure to make these small farming operations work. So what more fitting way to complete the trilogy than an epic cookbook manual that goes through all of the incredible produce that we both farm, forage, fish and hunt from the seas and lakes and rivers around the farm, and to bring you a whole year's worth of nutrition. This book is for farmers, ranchers, homesteaders, or anyone interested in a super nutrient dense whole foods diet. In true Ridgedale style, it's another monster book. It's 950 pages with over 450 recipes. We're still in editing, but most of it's put together. But I want to just give you a sense of the contents. And you can see it's a very extensive book, looking at nose to tail eating from all of the different animals, pastured poultry, mutton, beef, forest raised pork. And we want to really promote appropriate anatomical eating. So we start with the head and work through here's pig ear salads, pork cheeks, pig nose tapas, brains, etc., ending with the tail or whole roast animals. And that's really important to us so that people learn how to and remember how to eat whole animals, including all of the organ meats and some of the most nutritious bits that are often discarded nowadays. There's a whole chapter on tallow, how to make tallow, products you can make with it, how to can and store it, meat stocks and bone broths, the science and art of that. And then we jump into raw dairy that's suitable for people working on a home scale with simple home equipment. And then we look through all the different vegetables we've grown in our farm, and we look at recipes that highlight those and really shine a light on each vegetable in its own right, as well as looking at perfect storage and cooking times and temperatures. Then there's a section on fish, which is salt and freshwater fish, as well as crustaceans, and using fish roe, storing those ingredients, canning them, etc. Then we jump into hunted foods, so that goes through making stocks to some of the wild birds, to all the different sort of mammals you would find. And then the pick section is, bear in mind, it's 200 pages. It covers lacto-fermentation, pickles, vinegars, oxymels, alcohols. It looks at wild mushrooms, wild salads and seaweeds, how to make wild spice mixes. And it's got a whole section on home canning and recipes for that, and some beautiful, wonderful contents there. There's a whole chapter on baking, which is looking at the sourdough process and how to prepare grains in a traditional way from, utilized all over the world to make grains more nutrient available and more digestible and get rid of some of the anti-nutrients. Recipes from around the world, as well as recipes of how to use up the discard. And then there's a whole chapter on catering, so how to plan the workflows, the ordering, the cooking for groups of 10 to 100 people by a professional caterer. And then we end up with kids, looking at nutrient-dense, animal-based nutrition for kids. And that's an incredibly useful recipe there. And so here's the dream team of the chefs that have been at the farm and have contributed to making this work happen. So I'm not going to show you the whole book for now, but you'll get a sense, like we go through chapter by chapter, and I really wanted to bring this to life visually. Here's this creature in the farm or wild, here's how it's becoming a product, and here's how we cut down a chicken, for example, to get all the different cuts, or to butterfly a bird, and then recipes taking us through different uses for old laying hens, turkeys, chickens, etc. And that's the way we roll through each of these chapters. So after chicken, you get the next animal, this pasture-raised mutton, and we start from the head, sheep's head croquettes, and we work our way through to create nutritious whole meals. So just a point here, there is no processed foods in this book, except for the grains that local organic mill grains that we bake through sourdough. There's no sugar in this book, and we've put in how to make your own sugar beet replacements for sugar, as well as using lots of honey. We've even got things like lemon replacements for using Japanese quince for a direct lemon replacement. And there is no weird ingredients in here at all. Everything is locally gathered from the farm, from the forests, the rivers and the oceans, and designed to be optimal for human nutrition with no funny business. So I'm really proud of this work, and it's pulling some of the best of old traditions with new modern cooking and looking at really making sure we utilize all aspects of the creatures that we raise. A lot of beautiful raw beef dishes here that are one of my favorite elements of this. But I'll just whiz through as we get further into the book. We go through pork. There's a whole chapter on tallow and preserving meats, dairy at home. Then we jump through to the no-dig vegetable section, fish and hunted foods, how to make incredible gourmet foods completely from the wild in many cases, how to store meats. And I'm just buzzing through this really fast because you'll hopefully get a lot out of the book when you have time to sit down with it and really go through it. But it's been such a pleasure and such a joy to put my attention to utilizing all the amazing stuff from the farm after all these years of producing it for other people, and to be able to share chapters here about catering as well as for children. It's just, yeah, it's a real pleasure and honor for me to bring this last book of the trilogy to fruition, and I hope you get a lot from it. There's so many beautiful images in this book. It's such a work of love, and I'm so proud of it and so happy to be able to get this out to you. So the Kickstarter is going to launch this weekend, and the primary reason for that is to gauge the interest and to raise some of the money towards the printing costs. We're going to print in the same place as we printed the other books. If the campaign goes really well, I might even travel out to the printer to film the book being printed, because it's a fascinating process and so much work goes into producing a hardback book to bring, especially of this size. It's testing the edges of their glues and materials. But yeah, as I said, it's a very significant project for me, and I'm really proud of the collaborative effort to bring this to fruition. And I think it's going to bring a lot of lasting benefit to tens of thousands of people around the world. So I'm very happy for it. And so keep an eye on the social media channels in the links below, and you'll be able to jump on if you want a slightly discounted copy for getting behind the Kickstarter project. Thanks so much for your support, folks. As always, it means the world to me.